Hi everyone, Gary Nicholson here for weatherweb.net. It's your look ahead video today on Tuesday the 20th of January. First of all, we'll just have a look through the prospects for snow this evening and overnight into Wednesday, then take a look towards the weekend and looking then further ahead into next week. This was the radar picture earlier on this evening, and we've got a band of sleet and snow quite widely reported as falling as snow across parts of the southwestern Midlands, slowly making its way further northeastwards as we go through this evening. Mostly sleet and rain across lower levels in the south of England, but across the Midlands as this system makes its way northwards, encountering the colder air, more widely falling as snow for the central and northern parts of the Midlands across into North Wales as well. During the overnight hours then, it looks like the focus for snowfall moving its way slowly northwards. The North Midlands then is moving into the Derbyshire Peak District, across into parts of Nottinghamshire, Staffordshire and possibly as far north as South Yorkshire as well. Over the lower ground, around 2 to 5 centimetre covering is quite possible, over around 100 metres, so slightly higher terrain into Derbyshire. You're looking at around 5 to 10 centimetres, and over the highest ground of the Peak District, possibly over 10 centimetres. But even this is going to be quite sporadic and hit and miss, depending on just where the most organised clusters of snow do fall, and not too far away from where you are could be the difference between a good covering and only a slight covering. So a tricky one for forecasting for the overnight hours and first thing on Wednesday morning. During the first part of the day though, it looks like there's still some snow flurries around across the Midlands, though largely very light and patchy by this stage, and Northern England and Scotland really staying out of the worst, just isolated pockets of snow here and there. For the middle part of Wednesday, it looks like some snow makes its way towards Northern England, but amounts looking fairly small as this system just pivots round on itself and may just come back southwards for a time into Wednesday afternoon. But overall, it's going to be a cold, cloudy winter's day, with the top temperatures struggling at a 1 or a 2 degrees Celsius. Most of the snowfall becoming very, very light and just snow flurries as we go through into Wednesday afternoon that could still come and go locally. Across Scotland, a few snow showers in the far western Isles, perhaps Northern Ireland as well, but most of Scotland are generally drier, but again a cloudy and a cold day. Most of the residual snow should clear away overnight into Thursday, and then left with the skies clearing and temperatures dropping down to around -5 or locally lower over snow cover in Northern England, a little bit more cloud around in southern areas, and then a day with mostly light winds, variable amounts of cloud with some sunshine trying to come through from time to time, but staying chilly, and your daytime temperatures only around a 2 or a 3 degrees Celsius. Just moving that forward through into Friday, it's going to be a cold start Friday morning with some freezing fog patches possible in central and southern parts of England where winds remain light and skies try and clear overnight. Then we're going to see fronts developing towards the northwest, just pushing in with rain, sleet and snow across Scotland and northwestern areas, gradually making its way southeastwards through the course of Friday. Looks like turning pretty wet then across western regions through Friday, and a lot of this falling as snow across the highlands of Scotland, getting into the southern uplands across the Lake District and into Wales as well, and snow down to some quite low levels, a mixture of sleet and rain coming through lower down. But as the whole system is still encountering colder air in situ across the country, don't be surprised to see some further snowfall across northern Britain from this system. It'll move southwards through into Friday evening, and again a bit of snow on its leading edge as it encounters colder air, and some heavy falls of rain and snow over the western highlands of Scotland and across some of the western hills of England and Wales. It's still a chilly feeling day though for Friday, with your top temperatures struggling in the lower end of single figures, and still fairly cool through into Saturday. That front clears through during the overnight hours, bringing some rain to southeastern England, and then in a fairly bright pattern for Saturday daytime. Frequent showers, a lot of these of snow affecting northwestern Scotland, and brighter for England and Wales as a ridge of high pressure just tries to build in through Saturday. Your daytime highs are probably a degree or so higher than they have been for much of this week, nearer to 4, 5 or 6 degrees Celsius. That ridge of high pressure just building in a bit more through Saturday daytime then, so I think allowing skies to clear through into Sunday, and the frost then becoming widespread again. I think that frost most widespread for the south and the east of Britain as the fronts then get in towards the northwest again, with rain approaching the western side of Scotland. Again, some of this turning to snow over the mountains as we go through into Sunday. Looks like a fairly cloudy day for Sunday, with bits and pieces of rain developing. The fronts mainly well away towards the north and the west, producing some outbreaks of rain and snow for northern Scotland. And again, your temperatures are a few degrees up on where they have been this week, still on the cool side around daytime highs 5 or 6 degrees Celsius. Just looking towards next week, this is the chart for the 27th of January, so this is for next Tuesday. High pressure is centred towards the south and the west of the British Isles, just producing a ridge of high pressure across the country and allowing a slightly milder feed of air to get in across all areas from the southwest. So I think temperatures rising slightly milder than they have been in this last week or so, most places back to around 7-8 degrees Celsius during the day. It does look like being a bit up and down though next week, with the wind typically coming in from the west or the northwest. I think gradually as we go towards the back end of the week, so those last few days of January, greater chance of the air just coming around more often from a northwesterly, and I think the wind's increasing as well as low pressure towards the north becomes more active and starts to drive in a greater chance of gales to northern Britain, and the winds, as I say, generally a cooler northwesterly feed. I think as fronts come through and skies clear, there'll be a chance of frost overnight again. Not as cold as it has been recently, but from time to time cooler days coming through, and there's still a risk as fronts move in with some rain and snow across northern Britain in particular. And here's your temperature profile for Birmingham. This is for the next couple of weeks ahead and pretty representative of the country as a whole. There's the cold, wintry conditions we're in at the moment. There's the rise as we go through in towards the early part of next week. You can see still staying below the 10 degree line, which is about here. And generally though, keeping a fairly cool theme towards the end of the month. Temperatures around daytime highs between say 4 and 7 degrees Celsius, and staying on the cool side into early February, but not showing at this stage as going as cold as it has been recently. But do bear in mind this is the GFS ensemble model and tends to even things out a bit, so probably wouldn't see any hits of cold going this far ahead. And if you've seen Simon's musing from earlier on today, you'll see that the prospects suggest the jet stream may be becoming stronger again as we go through into February, increasing the risk of gales and stormy conditions. And we'll have more details on that one in the look ahead video in the days ahead. For now though, thank you as always for watching weatherweb.net, and bye for now.